Hey guys, welcome to the Magfed Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing a top 5 video. But before I get into it guys, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share, and comment. Okay guys, the topic of today's top 5 video is going to be the top 5 things that you want to do to your Valken M17 to make it reliable with first strike rounds. Okay guys, so the M17, I'll be honest with you guys, out of the box is actually quite reliable. But there's, of course, it's not perfect. There is some things that you can do to make it a little bit more reliable, not only just in function, but to work with first strike rounds specifically. And so that's what I'm going to be going over today on today's video. But when I'm going to do that, guys, I'm going to bring the camera in so that way I can show you guys the close-ups and, of course, show you guys exactly what you guys want to do. All right, let's begin. Okay guys, so the marker I'm going to be using today to show you guys the different tips, tricks, and things you can do is our Mark 11 SR25 marker clone. Guys, it's a really nice clone. It's obviously a sniper automatic system marker type of build. Okay, so it's starting out though guys, number 5. And this isn't specifically, number 5 isn't specifically something for first strike rounds, but it is to make the M17 a little bit more reliable, guys, specifically for its full automatic function, is making sure that you set the trigger adjustment here properly. Okay, guys? So tightening it, so like lefty loosey, righty tighty, right, guys? So tightening it in the Allen key, guys, by the way, you can either use a 3/32 standard Allen key or a 2.5 millimeter Allen key. I'm using a 3/32 today, but loosening it is going to make the trigger sear engage the heat core bolt less. So it's going to bring, in essence, the trigger seal down. And tightening in it, so turning it to the right when you insert it into the trigger here, as you can see here, when you turn it to the right, is going to engage the trigger sear up more, which is going to engage it more, and so that's going to make it more semi-automatic friendly. Okay, guys, and so there's a sweet spot that you're going to have to find for it to work with full automatic fire. So what you're going to have to do is, of course, after airing up the system, adjusting the velocity, we'll get into that here in a second, guys, and adjusting the velocity, the pressure relief valve correctly. You want to adjust this. Obviously, first you want to just test it in fully automatic fire. So the M17 comes with mechanical full auto already. So as you can see here with the selector switch, it has safe, semi, and full auto fire. You want to test it in bursts and make sure that it's not sputtering. You want to make sure that it's not obviously, just over airing as well too. So you want this full automatic fire to be consistent. And so they suggest you shooting it in bursts and then adjusting the trigger, correctly to get the full automatic fire to be consistent. Okay, guys. So that's number 5 on my list, guys. Is just making sure if you do want to use a full automatic fire. I personally don't use it, guys. I don't typically recommend use it because it wastes a lot of air. Obviously, it wastes a lot of first strike rounds. It's fun, it's cool, but in real life as well too, it's not the most accurate. Like I said, semi-auto is more than fine to play with. But yeah, I want to adjust that so that way the full automatic fire works well. Number 4, guys, on my list is going to be the pressure relief valve, guys, on the heat core system. And it's this screw and assembly right here that screws into the heat core. You guys will see it right here. And the reason why this is so important, guys, is one thing I've noticed, and this might be not 100% true, but they're in a blow forward system, and that's what the heat core is, right? So the heat core stores air in its bolt assembly, and when you're ready to go fire and you press the trigger, the air that's stored inside the bolt that pressure actually pushes the bolt forward, fires the round, and then the spring inside the heat core assembly is what pushes the bolt back and cocks it back into its ready position again. So that air pressure is necessary to charge the bolt. And Valken recommends anywhere between 600 to 850 psi for that to work properly, guys. And so they don't want any more pressure than that, no more than 850 psi. So that's why this system will have a pressure relief valve, or like I said, most blow forward systems I've seen has some type of pressure relief valve, so that way you don't accidentally over pressurize the system. And so one of the first things you're going to want to do, make sure that the M17's heat core is firing reliable, the velocity is reliable, it's not leaking air as well too, is adjusting that pressure relief valve, guys. And the trick to it is very simple. You're going to lefty-loosey, righty-tighty once again, guys. Let me go get the Allen key real quick for you guys so I can show you. So hey guys, I got a 5/32 Allen key, as you guys can see here, and also some thread paste. Okay, now the thing about this screw, guys, is it's actually quite easy to turn. So that's the other reason why I have thread sealant here for you guys. Once again, I'm using Permatex part number 59214. And so with that pressure relief valve setting, guys, what you guys want to do is once the air tank is aired up, you want to loosen this screw to the left, of course, very slowly, and wait for it to leak ever so slightly. Once you hear that leak, then you want to screw the screw back down until that leak stops. Okay, guys? But, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot a step. So before you even go to air the system up, guys, what you want to do is you're going to want to take the screw out completely. As you can see here, it comes out pretty easily. And be careful, like I said, there's going to be a ball detent and a spring in there, so you don't want to lose it. And what you want to do is you want to get some thread paste on, and like I said, a little goes a long way, guys, so I just put a little bit on there. And then what we can do is just set that in there and start it by hand. Okay. And be careful not to cross thread it, guys. It's just a very small screw. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so once you guys have it set in there with the thread paste, you're going to want to air up the air tank. And then, like I said, before you go to adjust the velocity, just slightly loosen the screw until you hear air coming out of it, and then tighten it down until the air stops. Okay, guys? And then once the air is stopped, now you know that the pressure relief valve is set at the correct setting. Then you can go, obviously, take your shots and chrono your marker now, right? Adjust it up to the feet per second that you desire. Here, you know, we always like to set it up right under 300. So I'm usually shooting for 290 to 299, right? Somewhere within, you know, that range. A little bit above 290 is ideal. Okay, guys, so that's number 4, is just making sure that your pressure relief valve is not leaking and set properly. And then, of course, using thread paste so that it doesn't back out. Because that's one of the things I noticed if you don't do, guys, and you fire the marker a lot, this thing, because it's not very tight, it will loosen out over time. You might lose it, and of course, or it just might start leaking from there. Okay, and so just double check that every once in a while. I haven't had to check mine in months after playing, you know, after setting it, but it's just one of those things you want to make sure that it's not set properly. Okay. Okay, guys, so in terms of the marker, that's pretty much all you're gonna have to do with the M17 to make it reliable. It's actually quite a reliable marker for first strikes out of the box. Now, obviously, it comes with its quirks, right? It has that air leak that we talked about. Watch those video guys where I tell you about the kind of just the built-in air leak with the heat core system. And of course, you know, you're gonna, like I said, the prerequisites, you're gonna wanna make sure the marker's clean. You're gonna wanna make sure that, you know, everything is tight and assembled properly with all the different screws and Allen bolts that the marker is. But besides, like I said, just your standard fare of that, the obvious stuff, there's not too much little word quirks that you have to adjust on the M17 to make it reliable with first strikes. Okay, there's the heat core system is pretty reliable. There's not that many O-rings to replace. I have yet to replace any one of my O-rings after thousands of rounds through these markers, guys. So yeah. So the remaining top three, guys, is going to be all in the magazine is kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, so if you want to say number 3, number 2, or number 1, assuming you guys even have the old school, you know, Milsim magazines, right? The rest of the modifications that, you know, the top 3 is going to have to do with the magazines, okay? So on the 18-round FSR magazine, everything is in the collar, guys. Whether it's the new 18-round, the old, you know, 18-round Milsim, or the, you know, the 11-round from Verizon. Okay, guys, everything is in the collar. On the collar for the new one, it's the little piece here on the collar where it lines up with the body of the magazine. Guys, I've showed you guys that video. If you guys watched that video on how to fix it, fixing for FSR to make this magazine pretty much 99.99% reliable. It's literally just the where it lines up here with the body of the magazine. You just have to sand that down a little bit so that way the collar of the magazine is even with the body of the magazine. Okay, so besides that, this magazine is really reliable, but you want to make it more reliable. That's the modification you want to do. The old school magazine, you have a little bit more. Of course, it has those issues as well on the bottom. But the main thing is that it does have a line at the top here of the collar. Normally the collar on the old Milsim magazine, there is a line on the collar right here that you just have to Dremel or shave down. And you'll notice now that since I've shaven it down, it's smooth. So it has nothing to catch on the first strike round, okay? And then on the 11-round magazines, there's way more modifications. Not only do you have to sand both sides of the collar on the inside, so that way it doesn't have that edge when it lines up with the body of the magazine. But it also has the line inside here as well that you'll have to sand off. You notice now that since I've sanded off, it's no longer there. And then also the texture of the inside of the collar of this magazine is just a lot more rough. You'll notice that the collar for the Verizon magazine is different. It's just like the plastic material they used, the machine, you know, whatever the molding they used, it just created more of a texturing inside the collar versus the Milsim or the Valken magazine. And like I said, any one of those things, an edge, that rough texturing, the collar not lining up with the body of the magazine properly, and so now there's going to be a lip, right? There's going to be kind of a lip like this. That's going to cause the first strike rounds to catch, okay, guys? But yeah, so the top 3 is going to be just modifying the whatever magazines you guys are going to use. That is the main crutch of the M17 marker, which doesn't make it work well with first strike rounds, okay, guys? So, guys, once again, to repeat, number 5 is if you want to adjust the trigger for full auto fire, make sure you have this setting correctly. Number 4 is the pressure relief valve on the heat core system, guys. This is very important to get your velocity adjustment set correctly, and also so there's less fluctuations and less issues with the heat core. You want to make sure that that's adjusted properly. And then the last top 3 is going to be just fixing the magazines to work with the FSR. Okay, guys, if you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Check you guys next time. Peace.